So I think I've solved the clone helmet situation. What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be explaining my quick mod to the new LEGO clone helmets that I think solves a lot of the issues people have with them, mostly being those little nubs on the side. As you can see, this mod basically just removes those nubs and takes all of about 30 seconds. And I think will basically solve the problems people are having with these helmets. In general, I do prefer the new helmets. I know that's a hot take for most people, but I just like the new shaping overall. If you pay attention to the domes on the top, they are very different than the old ones. And the breathers on the sides are a bit thicker, and everything all around is just kind of updated a bit. And most of all, that brow line being an actual mold instead of just a print really adds like some character that was, I think, a lot needed on the last version. So here's the first version of the clone helmet, which has been used for a long time now. And then here is like the 2023 updated version. Here they are side by side. I just still, even with those bumps, prefer the new one just because of the customizability with the helmet and all the things you can do with attachments. Now, all of the attachments still work. Mind you, I do think that they are a bit altered. So if you have a character that is going to be using the attachments full time, I think you should just not mod it. If you have a character that you just know will never use attachments, I say go for this. Although there is one attachment that is a bit altered by this mod, and that is going to be the rangefinder. You can see both of these work fine and aren't really affected at all, but the rangefinder is one that is a little affected by this mod. It's going to make it so it kind of leans inward a little bit and not straight up. I don't think it's that big of an issue overall, so if that is something you can get past and you just want this for all your clones, go ahead. Although I still would just suggest you don't do this. I think this totally devalues the clones, and this mod kind of ruins your figures. But if you have no intention of reselling them, if you have no intention of thinking you're going to regret this in many years or whatever down the line, go ahead and do this. I'm just going to do this with a couple of my figures. I'm not going to do this with all of them. I just want a couple clones that will not be displayed with anything. I tested this on the heavy because I have 4 of them. I got 2 of those battle packs, so they're not too sentimental or special to me, so they were kind of my test dummies for this project. But yeah, if you have a character that will always wear the headgear, or if you have a character that is never going to wear the headgear, I would say, just mod the ones without. If they're going to be wearing the headgear, just keep the molds on there probably. But if you have one that's going to be using a rangefinder, my advice would be maybe just keep this rangefinder one, there, but then get rid of the side that doesn't have a rangefinder. That way it's kind of like the best of both worlds for this mod, and you kind of remove a lot of the headache that comes with this like angle. It's also kind of falls out pretty easily, as you can see there. It goes in fine, and if you're not going to touch it that much, it's totally fine, but comes out pretty easy. So keep that in mind. There's all my disclaimers and all of my warnings. Again, I would just warn against just don't do this. But for sake of just showing this to you guys, because I know that's a lot of people are interested in clone stuff, and I've been in a clone mood recently. So with that all said, let's get into explaining what this mod is. First things first, let's talk about what you're going to need to do this mod. I use 2 tools, although you could probably just get away with using a razor. You could also even use one of these type of razors if you're skilled enough or whatever. But these are my go-to tools right here, and they make it the easiest. This is a plastic hobby cutter knife thing. And this is a little bit more of an expensive one, but you can kind of get away with using any of them. I would suggest, if you're in the hobby or the practice of modding Lego or anything, just grab like a little bit of a nicer one of these and have a bunch of junk ones laying around. And then for, when you're cutting tiny stuff, use the nicer ones. I found that to be very helpful in my modding endeavors. Before I show this process, is just another warning that if you are younger and you are unexperienced with tools, maybe you just don't attempt this mod, or have someone who is more skilled attempt it for you. Just be careful, practice caution, use someone with more experience, like an adult or a friend that is way better at stuff like this if you are not. With that said, though, if you are skilled, this is a really, really easy mod for people who are not worried about cutting their hands off. So all you're going to want to do is take one of these X-Acto knives. I use this for the cleanup and the second part, but I just take this knife and I line it up right here and right here. That's where I'm going to be cutting the first part off. Not really cutting, but rather just marking. So the first part of this process is I just kind of notch the front of the knife in there and kind of like lay it, and then I just press down, and then we're left, if you can see, with that little line in there. And then I'm going to do that on the other side too. And I'm just going to take this off just so I can hold it in my hands better. So be very careful when you're using pressure with knives. You know, you can slip and cut your fingers, and that's something you don't want. So I'm just going to mark it the same as I did on the other side. Readjust a little bit there. And then just kind of press down. And I think I'm going to press a little bit harder on this side too. So just like that. So now that we have those like indents in there, all I do is take this craft hobby cutter, and then I'm just going to press as close as I can on the sides of the temples of this helmet, and then just cut that part off. You can see there's that little bit of extra stuff right there. And then I'll cut the other side off as well. And the reason why we did the initial line cut is because then it provides like that nice just line right there. And you could leave it like this and it would be fine as it is, but that will not allow you to use the rangefinder on either side. It still will, but it's going to stick out and fall out really easily like you just saw. So what we want to do next, grab this again and do a snip right there, and then snip towards the center. And that kind of just removes that other bottom part right there. And we'll do the same on the other side. Just right there, and then in the center. So that's what we're looking at now. And then let's just grab another clone just to compare. So here we have our unmodded clone right here and our newly modded clone on the right. And I just think that's just such an improvement aesthetically. Again, if you have no issue with this, there's really no need for this mod. This is just for people who want to see a little bit more accuracy, or I don't know, they just have some free time on their hands and want to try something out. Now let's see. I think this will allow us to now put the rangefinder in. Yep, just like that. So everything still works perfectly. You can still use the rangefinder and everything. I think this mod for me is something I'll just keep limited to like a couple clones, and then majority of the other clones I will just keep as is. There's no really need to be cutting all of them off and ruining your clones, whatever. But yeah, I think this is a fun mod for people who want to try it out. I definitely don't suggest you do it on all your clones. Just, you know, practice caution. Here's a one that I've cleaned all of the printing off. This used to be like the same helmet, but I've cleared all of the printing off. And this, I've also removed those sides. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. That was it. That's just a quick video for today of how to modify your clones. I guess let's get a one in here before. So how to modify your clone helmets. This is the new 2023 mold. And yeah, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more mods, I have plenty to show. So please subscribe and leave a like on this video if this was at all helpful to you or interesting. And I will see you guys in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. See ya.